Greater reset, to me, is a brilliant idea, which is, let's be the antithesis of that. Instead of a small group of people dictating to the world, who we are and what we're allowed to do, greater reset is let's inspire the sovereignty and the power in each person to dictate to those small-minded individuals that think they're in control who we're going to be and how we're going to live. It's a spectacular event, and it's filled with the right types of speakers. And I thought, if you can be happy here, then we should be able to be happy anywhere.
The Greater Reset is a gathering of people that are questioning the narrative and questioning the way that we've been told to live, a conventional life.
The Greater Reset is about primarily decentralization, building alternative systems so that are not based on hierarchies or coercion, where everything's voluntary.
In our indigenous communities, we talk about the 7 generations and beyond, right? So we're thinking in terms of the people who aren't even here yet and those who are going to come. How can we start laying a foundation for a world that gives them some option? We have no way to know if we'll succeed, but I believe, and we believe, and everybody involved believes, that trying and making the effort is so important. And if we didn't make this effort, then we're basically just giving up and selling out the coming generations.
It's really a very diverse community ideologically. And it's a beautiful thing because we can all share those ideas and learn from each other and take what works for us. And it's okay if we don't resonate with something else, we can let that go. And I think that the conversation of all these different points of views is really empowering the evolution.
To me, the Greater Reset happening right now in this moment, it's important because the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, these people, they have an agenda. It's called Agenda 2030. Well, it's 2023, and the United Nations and the World Economic Forum have called this the decade of transformation. So they are very much working night and day to create their vision. And while there's a lot of people in the world who are questioning things and questioning governments and trying to find truth, there are less people who are actually doing something about it. And I think this is the time humanity needs it. This is our time. This is like our generations. And I mean that collectively, right? Like if you're alive and you're physically able, then you're hearing this message, I'm talking to you. It doesn't really matter your age. We're the generations that have the opportunity to make this change.
The Greater Reset is when we overcome the insecurities, the doubts, the fears, even if not 100%. But we step into trusting ourselves, trusting each other to build the lives that our hearts just always desire.
I see people more willing to question things, and I see people more willing to come together and seek community. And I know that the community and movement is growing, but it's not based on somebody telling you what to do. It's based on the facilitation of looking inward. What do you want to create? And it's not that somebody's going to do it for you. Everything in this activation is talking about how you can be a part of creating the change you want to see in the world.
Y siento que este es un evento donde la gente del mundo entero viene a aprender el cómo sí. El cómo sí puedes cambiar este mundo, el cómo sí hay gente que piensa y siente igual que tú, que puede ser diferente, el cómo sí ser atrevidos para que esta oscuridad que reina desaparezca. Sencillo. Tal vez no nos toque a nosotros todavía vivir ese cambio que queremos, ese futuro brillante que nos pintaron cuando éramos niños, pero tenemos la confianza y la certeza de que al menos estamos poniendo esas bases para construir esa realidad que algún día, si Dios nos da oportunidad, volverlo a sentir o ser testigos de ello.
Y a mí lo que me trajo aquí realmente fue la gente, que aquí en Morelia tenemos este espectacular lugar. Sin embargo, nadie viene a sentarse aquí al prado, a convivir, a estar en esta armonía. Entonces, pues yo vi a esta gente y dije, bueno, ¿dónde está el ovni? ¿Dónde aterrizó o qué? ¿Cómo es posible que nosotros tengamos esto todos los días y no lo aprovechemos como lo están gozando aquí, ¿no? Entonces me llamó la atención la tribu, digamos, Y bueno, pues ya viendo el tema, pues con mayor razón, yo siempre he sido rebelde del sistema y bueno, pues creo que aquí estamos varios rebeldes en armonía y en comunión.
Se me ha hecho muy interesante porque tienen puntos de vista que no son muy comunes escuchar en México, ¿no? Y como periodista se me hace interesante porque sí es una forma real, una forma tangible de poder hacer comunidad, de ser autosustentable y no tener que estar dependiendo, como decimos, de un sistema tradicional que pues siempre se ha aprovechado, ¿no? Siempre ha sacado ventaja.
Para mí es algo bien hermoso porque siento que necesitamos más de estas cosas. Entonces, para mí la experiencia ha sido de mucha conmoción. En cuestión de agradecimiento es también muy hermoso porque lo que yo ofrezco aquí se toma así completamente, abren sus corazones y dicen, sí, yo quiero aprenderlo, yo quiero saberlo. ¿Cómo es que llegaste a esto, no? O sea, y es hermosísimo saber que hay gente buscando esto.
Before these conferences and conferences like it, and even before the pandemic, it seemed to me that like there's all these wonderful people and we're connected by the internet in these different places, in these different cities, but they always seem so far away. This has given us a hub to kind of come together and to meet each other in person, know that we're not alone.
Since I was raised in a household with a lot of abuse, and I was always willing to question everything. And that became my theme throughout my life. I'm in my mid-50s now, and I've continued to question everything throughout my life. So I think that gave me the foundation to look at the outer world as something that really I should not just accept as reality. I looked at the outer world as I'm going to navigate this in a way that makes sense, but I'm not going to just accept and trust on the basis of authority being authority.
The point that got us to our awakening, we kind of knew that we needed to decentralize, that we needed to look outside of the system, but spiritually I was very lost and confused, and our relationship went to very toxic places. We were drinking, we were fighting, arguing over every little thing, triggered over every little thing, and it got to a point where we either were going to break up or we had to do something about it, and somebody introduced us to psychedelics, and that completely shifted our entire life.
A veces nos sentimos solos y creemos que estamos locos, la familia nos rechaza, entonces estamos un poco así en divergencia, en mucha mentalización, no sabemos qué decisiones tomar, pero si nos reunimos con otras personas que estén vibrando lo mismo, que estén teniendo este tipo de ideas, cada vez se nos va a hacer más fácil tomar la decisión de hacer cambios, de poner la palabra, y la palabra es la columna vertebral. Y lo haces con conciencia, pues entonces puedes salir de esos estados de divergencia y estar en resonancia y en mayor coherencia, que eso es lo importante, estar en coherencia con lo que pensamos, con lo que hablamos y con lo que actuamos. Ese es un proceso, así que bienvenidos los que quieren salir de la divergencia.
We are experiencing life, and we should be allowed to make any decision we want that really doesn't hurt someone else. Freedom starts with yourself, right? You have to trust yourself in order to trust other people. And I think that's where we're getting out. We're starting to live in such fear. We don't trust ourselves, we don't trust other people, and therefore we are imprisoning ourselves. Fear imprisons us. Fear takes away our freedom. And fear is how the government is allowing us to vote away our own freedoms. I think freedom truly is life.
I think there's a great awakening happening. It's the self-ownership awakening. And also in my talk, I asked the question, who owns your body? Nobody ever asked me that question.
And freedom gives us the opportunity to express ourselves in the way that is congruent with
what our dharma is, what we're here for. Why are we on this planet, right? Not the superficial stuff as much as the stuff that really is deeply, profoundly meaningful to you and to me, and what we discern to be meaningful to the earth, right? And the universe, and our connection to each other and that life force.
Freedom comes from within. Freedom is the knowledge that we are sovereign individuals. Freedom is the power of saying, I can give you consent or I do not consent. This is sovereignty, this is autonomy, and freedom is what every human's birthright is.